What's going on, guys? Welcome to a brand new episode of the Litecast here on the CF After Dark Network, live on CF After Dark and Cyclone Fanatic, and presented by the Iowa Distilling Company. I'm Austin Keeney. I promise I am joined by Matt Nelson. You can't see him right now. We will work on getting that fixed as soon as we can. So right now you're just stuck with me on
technical difficulties.
Technical difficulties. What else is new? I mean, this is, again, I say it every time. This is the After Dark difference. There we are.
Can you see me?
I can see Matt.
There. That's not bad.
Yeah,
we're working on it.
I think we could work with
We're
that.
workshopping.
All right.
My normal camera is not operational tonight for some reason, so here we are.
I got to tell you, Matt, so we are sponsored by the Iowa Distilling Company, and I was down there last Friday, saw our very own Levi and Jake Brend, a couple other folks down there.
Heck yeah.
I got to tell you, it was a great time at the Iowa Distilling Company. I mean,
good stuff.
Whatever you're picturing, I mean, like they have cocktails for whatever your taste might be. So,
yeah,
I mean, I'd strongly recommend getting down there. I had a Prairie Fire Mule, which was pretty good, and then a mango moonshine lemonade concoction. Just
heck yeah,
stuff all around. Great spirits, great cocktails. Get yourself down to Cumming. Check out the Iowa Distilling Company. Great sponsor of the show.
Yeah.
Do you have something for me, Matt?
I did, but I thought better of it. We're gonna just file that one away.
As a father, do you have something you'd like to say to me right now?
No. Favorite type of cheese? Why not? Let's start here. We were wondering about what we should talk about before the show. Okay.
That's way too bright.
Okay, so
I do not have a black eye for the people asking. I'm trying to get the lighting to make it look like I don't.
Fun fact, I love cheese. Like any and all forms, I'm in. I even like the stinkier ones. I'll go for a Swiss, a Jarlsberg, a Blue, a Roquefort. You take your pick. Like I'm in. Soft cheeses, slimy ones, perfect. It's really hard to beat like a really well-aged cheddar. I know like an English cheddar, like a Gloucester, a double Gloucester, fantastic. If I am like entertaining and I've got a charcuterie board, I'm trying to set out stuff for it, I'm gonna go with one of those. If I'm just talking about like some more normal cheese, Keeney, I love Havarti on a sandwich. Havarti just sliced. It's a softer cheese. Havarti is maybe one of my favorites. Do you have one?
I got to go as like just as straight laced and boring as possible. I love me a good Colby Jack. Just a block of Colby and like some pepperonis and some crackers, and like that's a great snack. So that's what I'm gonna go with.
Is Velveeta more cheese or is it more plastic?
It's definitely more plastic.
It is shelf stable for like an eternity. Hey, I grew up with Velveeta on canned green beans, homemade mac and cheese, where you toss a little Velveeta in there. I will say, on burgers, I know Keeney. All right. Oh yeah, you can do your pepper jack, your Munster, whatever. No. Bollocks. American cheese, man.
American on a burger, okay.
It's the superior melting cheese. I don't know if American cheese is actually even considered real cheese. Keeney, it's American, man. It's perfect. Velveeta is an element.
It's naturally occurring, is what you're telling me.
It naturally occurring, that's right. Yeah, it can neither be created nor destroyed. Velveeta is inevitable is what it is. That's one of those foods that would survive the apocalypses with the roaches. Like the only two things left would be Velveeta and large irradiated mutated cockroaches. Man, what a great question to start off with, Kenny. Like, do you like cheese as much as me?
It's the off season, man. It's Thursday night. We kind of threw this one together last minute. We're freewheeling a little bit. So
where do you stand on cheese of the cottage variety?
I like cottage cheese.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, heck yeah. We're 2 for 2 on the Slidecast.
Okay.
Protein, it's great. Do you put anything on it? Any salt, any pepper?
I don't put anything in it. You know what really like gives me the creeps is like when I see like the fruit mixed into it. Like that just doesn't seem right to me.
If it's canned peaches with like the sauce, and you get that sauce with that. No, I don't even want to talk about it. I'm with you. I'm out. I do like pepper and occasionally a little Lowry salt if I'm feeling a little squirrely.
Lowry's goes on everything.
It does go on everything. It's true.
I got to tell you, so we made breakfast for dinner tonight, and
Love
you
it.
know what I like to do when I like to fry some eggs and I like to throw some Lowry's on there.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't know that I've ever done that. I bet it's great.
it's good. Yeah, we're just going for it tonight. You know what else I like
Yeah.
Lowry's on? A little bit of Lowry's on like a bowl of popcorn.
Get out of here. I love
Some
this.
seasoned salt on the popcorn.
On the
Yeah, it gives it a little bit
popcorn.
of a different taste. Yeah,
Boy, I could get behind that, no question.
I'll
I thought you
recommend
were
it.
I thought you were going to say like a baked potato or something, which yeah, that's totally sensible. Wow,
Uh,
what a lane we start into here.
I know, Matt. You know what else we're doing tonight is we're getting wild because it's Game 6 of the NHL playoffs. I mean, you're a Minnesota sports guy. How are you? Is this just like a coping mechanism so you don't have to watch the
Yeah.
hockey game?
Yeah, this really helps honestly because knowing my Wild like I do, they will not win and then they'll probably lose game 7 in Dallas despite being up 3-2 and having a home game because we haven't made it out of the first round. I mean, since a random Mickey Mouse pandemic season against Vancouver, I think back in 20. So yeah, it's tough. That does lead me to a question I did want to start off. Besides the cheese question was great. So audience, if we've got any more questions like that, I mean, please like fire them in here.
We got a
Um,
little bit of Iowa State news and just a little bit of time to talk about
and a
whatever
lot
you
of
guys want in
everything
the chat.
else. I mean, do you have a favorite professional sports playoff? And I'll give you mine, and then I'm curious as to what your thoughts are overall. Um, it's not perfect by any means, but I really like baseballs. And I'll give you a couple reasons why. I like that there's a few more playoff options. We've seen wild card teams actually win the whole thing, right? Like, which I don't think you see in the NFL nearly as often the way you've seen wild card teams have success in MLBs. I also love the time of year. It's kind of unique, right? You've got Super Bowl in the winter. You've got these two playoffs going on right now. You've got October, where in some stadiums it's 40 degrees. Playing at night in the fall, and maybe it's more nostalgia than anything for me. But I think baseball is my favorite. I'm curious. I'm talking like the format, the type of winners it produces, the style, any of those things. Because I have a big strike against hockey, which we can get to. But I wanted to hear your favorite first.
I was going to say baseball too, and I mean,
Ooh,
for
I
me,
like it.
it more comes from the fact that like I actually have a favorite baseball team,
Yeah,
and the Cubs went like 5 years without making the playoffs, and then last year getting in, winning the wild card series, going 5 in the division series just made me feel alive in a way that I haven't in a while. I love the NFL playoffs too, but
the NFL.
that's just a weekend thing. Like the
Yeah,
baseball every night, every pitch. Like I
you're
mean,
living and dying
it's
on
a
every
cliche,
single
but there's no
pitch.
clock. Like you can't get a lead in baseball and then just sit on it and try and move on to the next night. Like you can't.
There's way more drama. Like late in that game, like they throw a pitch, then you're waiting. You're sitting there staring at the TV, waiting for that next pitch, right? Especially when you get late in the game. I I think the NFL's is damn near perfect, Keeney. Like it's really good. Um, Here's my complaint with hockey's, and I wonder if you have the same. I love playoff hockey. It's the John Boyce tweet
Oh, we're
about cocaine out of a helicopter. Um, but the way it's designed, Keeney, the two teams like Dallas and Minnesota should not be playing each other in the first round. It's not just Dallas and Minnesota. It happens this way almost every year, where you get two usually big rivals right behind each other in the standings playing each other. I just hate how they do that. It makes it almost anticlimactic by the time we get to the cup. And it shouldn't be that way. I think it's the most intense of all the playoffs, but I just don't like how they set it up. That's just maybe a personal preference, I guess.
bad Jackson, bad Pence. No,
No,
Moises Ballesteros, rookie of the year.
Moises
Not that.
Ballesteros. Is that Sevi Ballesteros' son? It has to be.
I don't think Sevi had a big fat guy that played
Okay.
DH as his son, who's like 20 right now.
No, probably not.
You know what we conveniently didn't say as our favorite is the NBA. I've got a final score to read to you right now.
Oh, come on. Come on. I was withholding it. Let's hear it.
Knicks 140, Hawks 89. That was a clinching game. That was a game that ended the series. 140 to 89.
Can you say Cancun?
That is just abominable. Like I
I
can't. It's amazing.
Again, Cancun.
That is
That's
just
the old.
ejecting yourself from the playoffs as fast as possible.
It's
Matt, we do have a
the
little bit of Iowa State news. You got something else on the NBA?
no. It's the Charles Barkley quote. They're not going even to Cancun. They're going to Galveston, where that dirty ass water washes up onto the beach. That's where the Hawks are going. Galveston, not even Cancun.
I don't think the Cards are good, Pence. I mean, I would invite you on here to debate this, but I don't think the Cardinals are any good this year. They might every so
Yeah,
all right, we're still sidetracked, but the NL
we are. It's
Central
fine.
is just have you I don't know if you've looked at the baseball standings. Everybody in the National League Central is above 500 right now.
Ooh, that's fun.
We're about to enter the month of May.
Yeah, you'll get a little separation here. I mean, I was on top of the world because the Twins were the best team in baseball for
We had
2
like
weeks,
2 weeks where we had
and then they
check-ins on the
went,
show of how good the Twins were doing.
and then they lost 5 straight, and it's it's not great. We're not talking about it. Yeah, I mean, we probably should talk about the Cyclones. I guess you probably had to do that at some point. The Twins, yeah, they may not. It's very true.
Can you confirm if the Twins will win another game
there
this year?
there is a non-zero chance that they will not win a game the rest of the year. How about that?
All right, let's have a little Iowa State news. I mean, this was a big one yesterday that was announced. TJ Otzelberger got his extension, long-awaited extension. We expected it to happen.
Extension.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is there anything about the new contract that shocked you? Because I was blown away by the fact that his salary is going to be $6 million a year.
I was just going to say, I know some people are going to go the route of the buyout. I totally understand that. I think it's the salary. Like $6 million a year is massive. And I saw some people joking, what is Rodgers making, like $1 million? The answer is he might be. Like, for all we know. We know his salary is not large because I think it's eaten in. He basically said, yeah, I'll help kind of reduce that buyout that Campbell left. But $6 million a year puts him, well, I mean, it's hard to say because we don't know for every private school, but what, top 10 is the reporting, correct?
Yep. So everybody was throwing around that like USA Today database. It needs updated, but it'll be somewhere. TJ will be somewhere in the neighborhood of like the 10th highest paid coach in the country, which is absolutely deserved. Like he's worth every penny he's going to make. So I don't know if anybody was like, wow, that's a lot of money. It is, but TJ's 100% worth it.
And I think it says 2 things, right? It says, one, they're serious about keeping him, right? Like, when you're the 10th highest paid coach, it doesn't make sense to make a jump to become the 8th or the 7th. Right. And at that point, you're talking about the magnitude of $500,000, $1 million, not as much as $3 million. Like you've basically taken all of that math almost completely out of the equation. And I'm sure that was their goal. And mission accomplished. Like that also to me tells a really positive story about what resources basketball either already has or is going to be getting going forward, right? You don't hinder your ability to pay your basketball team through rev share by giving him that big of a contract because you've got to have good players to pay that, in order for your high paid coach to be good, right? Rodgers, $3 million. Yeah, thank you. So to me, it maybe signals a sign of maybe some more investment from David Cook and from the athletic department, which I think is a really positive sign. Like it doesn't clearly mean that, we're rolling in the venues now, but I don't think they'd be paying him $6 million, Keeney, if they didn't feel good about the athletic revenue.
Right. I mean, if you think about what's happened in the last year of Iowa State athletics, the men's basketball program is the premier program of the athletic department now. Like football obviously went through a coaching change and has a whole new roster, and the women's basketball team's in flux. Wrestling is undergoing some changes too, although theirs is a little bit less like drastic, I guess. I mean, the coach overseeing 2 programs, but like men's basketball is what you think of when you think of Iowa State athletics right now. So absolutely makes sense to prioritize that. Yeah, for TJ, like you're making $6 million a year at Iowa State. Well, if Kansas calls you and says, hey, we want, Bill Self is retiring and we want you and we're going to pay you 7, like it's different than if you're making like 4.5 at Iowa State and then Kansas offers you 7. Like it's just, I don't know. You're right. It makes it a lot harder to justify making a jump just for a bigger paycheck.
I think
Steve Kemp, if I'm a player for Odds and asking for more money, they're doing that regardless of what TJ's doing.
Yeah, that's correct. Right. I do think the buyout staying at, I believe, 4 million has drawn some attention. And I just have some thoughts there, right? Like, one, with the salary that he's now at, um, like, what are the odds that someone is going to pull him away for more money? It kind of makes the buyout more of a moot point than it maybe would be otherwise. So that's one. And then two, like, if you're Otzelberger, why would you willingly agree to like a $15 million buyout? Or 10 million? I don't think you would as a coach. What agent would say, yeah, do that, right? Like, and I know we all wanted to be loyal, but the reality is that big of a buyout would be super prohibitive from any other team ever wanting to talk to him. And maybe there's a situation where he feels like he has to because something changes, right? Like, the buyout's a great deal for us as fans, but not for him as coach. And if he really got upset about it, would you really want to create tension between your head coach and you by insisting on some massive buyout? Like, I think it's nice to say you want, but what coach is going to consent to give himself that? That's just my opinion on it. Like, I know as a fan, we'd all feel a little bit better if that buyout was 10 million, but if you're
I guess
TJ, there's a lot of reasons why you wouldn't want to do it.
I didn't have any idea that it was going to change as a, with the new
Right.
contract. Like, okay, you get more years added onto the contract, you get a big bump in pay, and the buyout stays the same. I still think that's a great deal for Iowa State. It's not like it got reduced.
No, correct. I think it's a good deal for both parties. So
yeah, so like Hassel and Chris Williams talked about it on Two Guys today about that 4 million figure kind of falls in like roughly in the middle of power conference programs. It's not like it's super small relative to other schools. So
right. I don't think I saw a ton of angst about it. I did notice a little bit, and that was just my only comment, right? I don't think that theirs is comically low, and I don't think that Otts would agree to something that was ridiculously high either. So I don't know how you could really change it all that much.
I know years on contracts are fake, but it's got to mean something that he has signed an extension for 10 years. Like, he's under contract through 2036. Like, I don't know. I guess TJ's never given us any reason to believe like he's not 100% bought in on Iowa State.
The symbolism is very clear that like they don't want him going anywhere, right? Like, it's not let's try another 3 years and see how it goes. It's 10 years is basically lifetime at that point, right? Like, that's what they're getting at. So I think it had been in the works for a while, Austin, right? From what we understand, just had not been announced until this week. So kudos to Tang did ruin the $18 million.
Which I think that's a little bit different because $18 million is what Jerome Tang was owed when he was fired. Like, the $4 million figure that's getting thrown out is like what TJ has to pay back Iowa State if he takes another job.
Yeah, what another school through TJ or what TJ would have to pay back if he left and broke the contract. Right. Yep.
But I mean, it's fun to beat up Jerome Tang too. Like, by the way, did you see he's going back to Baylor as an assistant?
Waiting in the wings for the inevitable moment when Scott Drew retires. Is that correct?
Can Baylor really do that?
You wouldn't think so after what he just did at Kansas State, but
Baylor's taken a step back in the last 4 years. So maybe Tang was the secret sauce. Maybe he's just one of those guys that's built to be a really good assistant and just not be a head coach. We'll see. They did just pull a big time recruit. That kid that decommitted from North Carolina, I saw he's going to Baylor. So stuff going on there.
Because of Jerome Tang.
It must be, man. I'll tell you one thing. The floor on the Baylor practice facility is going to be so clean every single day.
Spotless. There will be no huddle spying on his watch. Not for 1 second. That's right. Hide your managers. Hide your mops. Do you want to jump over to the ladies real quick? We've had just a little movement there. Some assistant coaches moving around with Steyer retiring and Shaban announcing she's seeking some other opportunities. I'm just curious if you have any thoughts there. I know on the men's side we've had new assistants named and seemed like really good hires, really good fits for what TJ's. Nothing's going to change with how he runs that program. Clearly, what are your thoughts on all those things?
Well, Matt, what have we been talking about for the last month with the women's program? Like, clearly something is going on with all the roster turnover that happened, and now we have long tenured assistants stepping away. Oh, the Wild just took the lead. breaking news: the Wild are up 3-2.
Bang, bang,
Yeah,
bang. Do you want to recklessly speculate?
Maybe, but the alarm bells are going off. You don't leave a job on May 1st for another assistant opportunity. Like
No.
the time for bringing in new assistants has already happened. So that one just weird to me. I'll leave it up to you. How much reckless speculation?
I don't
Chat,
know
actually, chat. How much do you want us to recklessly speculate?
because I don't have like proof or intel on any of this. I just have a general thought that we've seen before in college athletics. Can they win with nobody over 6-1? Yeah, with pace and space, which is actually how Bills teams played really prior to this era.
You can you can get into a supercharged, expanded tournament,
right?
With
Oh wow,
nobody over 6-1.
deflected off of a skate by Quinn Hughes. How about that? Okay, let's go crazy. Let's get nuts. That's a Minnesota thing.
Let's get fired. Levi C-Dub.
That's what I'm the most worried about. I apologize in advance.
No, so let's just preface this. I mean, I think this is a fair conversation to have. By the way,
I think so.
We don't have any inside information about this. This is just kind of what we think might be Bill's motivations for when he ultimately hangs it up.
And it's pretty simple line to draw, right? It's if these assistants were going, if you're going to replace assistants, you got to be really good team players to help recruit a bunch of players to join the team and then announce you're leaving once you built that team. Which with a retirement, sure, but with Shaban leaving to seemingly pursue another opportunity, that seems less likely. Again, unless they're just really big supporters of Bill and of the program and didn't want to leave him in the lurch during that key recruiting season. That's possible, right? Like that may be even likely. I think what this reminds me of, honestly, the minute I saw it, was what happened at Wisconsin with Bo Ryan, where Bo wanted Greg Gard to take over the program and wasn't sure whether or not that would happen. And he stepped away. I remember in November, and they were really playing poorly because I remember making fun of him on Twitter, Keeney. I was doing the whole when the going gets tough, the tough retire Greg Gard bit because they were not on track to make the tournament. But I think it came out afterwards that Greg didn't think, or Bo didn't think Greg would get a chance to take over in any capacity. So he left him no choice. He left in the season, and Greg finished out the year as interim. They did well, and guess Kenny Dio still coaches that team. Who's their head coach?
Still Greg Gard. I think maybe Wisconsin fans don't love that. That's reality, but
so I'm not going to go any farther because again, we really don't know anything. But that is one of these situations that I was reminded of. Again, it's also very possible that Bill said, "Hey, I've got some new assistants that I want to bring in, but I can't do it now. I need your help filling out this portal class." And because they're good coaches and they didn't want to stick Bill with no help to fill that roster, they decided to stick it out. That's also extremely possible and maybe even likely, but
I'd say it's probably more likely than
I would agree.
A grand conspiracy of Bill's succession plan that he's put together.
I'm not the first person to say this. You could probably find it on the internet too. That's just what it reminded me of, honestly, right? And at the end of it, underlying, right, we know Bill's got 1 year left on his contract. And we've heard Chris and Brent talk about it, that they don't really expect him to be the coach here next year. So I think it's not crazy unreasonable to maybe speculate that this could be something that's going to happen. But again, we don't want to be responsible with this information because we have none. We're just kind of being a light cast and taking a guess here. On the men's side, I don't know, like, did you expect a juicier assistant hire? They both seemed pretty boring. And
so I will be honest with you about this, Matt.
You know nothing about him?
I don't know anything about our new assistants, and frankly, I don't really care. I wasn't like reading message boards to be like, who could we bring in? Whoever comes in. I mean, it's an assistant, so sure. What's the one guy's the shot doctor? I think that's cool.
The shot doctor. Did you didn't have like any expectations of? And I don't think I really saw Iowa State fans doing this and go, oh, you have to go get this guy. So I thought those hires made perfect sense. Quite frankly, TJ Otzelberger could tell me he's hiring anybody, a recent player, a janitor. Um, I you could say he's hiring Prentice Nixon as his assistant. I'd say, yeah, okay, I trust him, right? Like,
Taking
no,
shots at Prentice.
that's not a shot at Prentice. Shouts to Prentice. I actually always liked his game a lot, but that's kind of where we're at with Altsberger. It, it's not like it was with Fred Hoiberg, where you were like, if Fred does not hire someone with a lot of experience and someone who can coach defense, he's screwed, because we knew we had neither of those things, right? So I think with Fred, you were looking for something very specific, and I think don't think TJ's in that shape. He's coached long enough. Um, so I anyway, those are my thoughts. I think Buckley is the highlight, though, right? Like, from the time he spent around a lot of really good NBA players and some really good programs, he seems like, kind of the splash, I guess, if you will, brought onto his staff. So, yeah, I think there'll be really good continuity there. Are we still waiting on one more announcement, or I believe the second one was named, correct?
The second one was named. This is how little I paid attention to it. I couldn't tell you what his name is. I just know we hired
Oh
somebody.
no. Oh no,
Um,
the Lightcast stats and
yeah, the
information
stats and
department is
info department
slacking.
is lacking here. Matt, I'm gonna throw a stat at you that'll blow your mind.
Yeah.
Do you realize that next year will be TJ's sixth year as the Iowa State head coach? So as of next year,
6 years.
he'll have been at Iowa State longer than Fred was as the head coach. If he coaches one more game, he'll have officially been the Iowa State coach longer than Fred Hoiberg was.
Boy, that doesn't seem possible.
I know. Like, Fred's been at Nebraska longer than he was at Iowa State. That also doesn't feel possible.
Well, that really hurts. Um, well, again, TJ's earned the did you have okay? Did you have any second of even nervousness about him having to replace his
No.
assistants?
Nope. He's the system.
Yeah.
Once the
And
roster was filled out, I'm like, all right, we're gonna get whatever we get, and that's great. There was all right. So I will say there was a 1% chance. Again, it's reckless speculation time, but when Seth Tuttle didn't get the UNI job, and with how close Kyle Green and TJ are, I thought maybe there was a 1% chance that Seth Tuttle might come to Iowa State, but that's the furthest extent I thought about assistant coaching.
yeah, I did hear those rumors. Again, it's been nice to not have to really think about it. By the way, Caroline McComb's new assistant announced on the ladies team as well. So that's sweet. Alan Hansen, Keen Dog, is the other new assistant. So yeah, Otts has named his two, and it looks like we've already got one hired by Bill. They've so Hansen. Just a little quick bio on him. Was at Bradley this past year.
Oh yeah, another NBC guy, Matt. So
yeah.
you hate the hire. He's a Valley guy.
Valley guy does seem extremely promising.
For the record, so Steve Prohm was at Iowa State for 6 years, and this will be TJ's sixth year. So we got to get through this year. We got to at least match Steve Prohm, and then
do you want to guess where? Do you want to guess where he coached in high school prior to going to the college ranks?
No.
Was
it in? Wait. Was he in Wisconsin?
Yeah, there you got it. That's what I was.
Okay,
No, not
yeah.
making
So
you guess
it's
high school.
On brand hire.
He coached up in Glendale, Wisconsin, and then actually was a 4-year letter winner at Milwaukee, just like our guy TJ. They're really good while they were there, honestly. So made it to the second round of a tournament. Had some top 25 wins. I think they even made a Sweet 16 when he played there in like the early 2000s. So really good, but young, very much young, right? Like, I think this is kind of like what we thought about JR when he was hired. Like a young assistant that he's going to, coach and potentially groom to be a head coach somewhere else, just like he's done. Man, it's wild that 2 assistants on his staff this past year are head coaches. Definitely, I think to me, Hansen seems like more of the recruiting type, and Buckley will be kind of the general manager, and then work a lot on player development. So seems to me like you kind of got. I mean, Hansen being young, a really good college athlete from Wisconsin. I think recruiting wise makes a ton of sense to have on your team. So good on TJ for
TJ, I
getting
mean,
that done.
he's nothing if not on brand. Like, if you're from Wisconsin, if you go to a public high school in Wisconsin and you're like a 4-star recruit, you're coming to Iowa State. Like,
That's right.
it's just written in the stars now. Like, that's just what happens. So
I think this basketball team needs some of that Culver's and Quick Star money. Why not? New sponsors.
Yeah, we should be reaching into Wisconsin to pull.
No question. Come on, man. Let's go.
Badgers. I know TJ
That's
got to work the phones a little bit.
That's right.
Matt, let's talk about spring football for like a minute. I didn't go to the spring game. You didn't go to the spring game.
No.
Have you heard of anything that happened in the spring game that you think is really worth like dedicating 5 minutes of podcast time?
I've heard some, but probably nothing that you guys haven't already heard on a lot of other podcasts. But I have had a chance to talk to some folks who've been able to go to practice. Even talked to a few coaches at Size House actually this past weekend, and shout out to the staff. They were all there, Ricky, and I actually got to talk to basically all the coaches. The offensive line coach, had a really funny conversation with him, which I can share a little bit about. Ricky, the general manager, Jimmy as well. Jimmy's very funny, very intense, just like football guy. I think he's got like one thought that goes through his head, which you want in your head coach. I think some of the Washington State guys have made the transition and have looked really good. Bryson Lamb at D tackle has looked really, really good. And then a lot of the like the players in the back end, I think they're going to be very good at corner and at safety, even with the injury, right, to Alls.
I guess that's one thing we didn't really talk about is Alls tearing his ACL in practice. Yeah.
There's also more returners than we thought. Like, this is an interesting tidbit. You know, we were all watching these player announcements. There's 44 returners. So there's at least, and I think Keeney, we were kind of tracking the returns. I think Jackson, you were probably the one doing that on social media. We've got good game, quarterback, wide receiver, DL. So
we got some boots on the ground.
There we go. There were like 20 plus players that came back and just didn't announce. And a lot of them were on defense. So there is a lot more depth than we think. Like David Coffey is a returner that's looked really good. Trey Verdun has looked really good. The defensive line returners have looked really good. No surprise, a lot of those guys that we named are defensive players. Yeah, that's some consistent feedback. I've heard the linebackers are smaller, but they're quick, which I think fits this defense well. I don't know. I've also heard just kind of some general thoughts that the players really like this new defense. I mean, really like it. That the old one, I got to be careful how I say this. The consensus that I've kind of picked up, Keeney, is that it's not that the old defense did not work. However, it does make me as not a fan of that defense feel a little bit more validated.
John Heacock's number one hater, Matt Nelson, chiming in here.
No, it was just that when teams figured it out, there was no counterpunch, right? Out of that base 3-3-5, there was really no adjustment. And I know that made a lot of fans furious, but Keeney, you can go back and look at the numbers, and objectively, that defense was still good. I think if you've got a top 40 defense year in and year out, it's a great defense. But there, for certain teams that had us scouted well, you look no further than Kansas and Texas Tech, Keeney. Look at what those programs have done to us, or the last 4 or 5 years. Like, could not stop either. And I still don't think Campbell's beaten either coach. Did we play Kansas this past year? I don't remember. I know we didn't play Tech. We beat them. Okay, this is the first one against Leipold. So
I mean that Kansas team was dog crap.
Yeah, so. Correct. Right. So I think with this new defense, they feel much better that it is harder to plan for, more multiple, and we'll just be a little bit more flexible. And again, I don't want to take shots at Heacock because he's a legend. He sat in the stands, which I love.
I love that he's like around the program, even if we're not like hitting him up for advice or like,
right.
He's not like coaching. He's not an advisor. He just loves ball and loves being at Ames. And I think
we complained about a bad defense, and that defense was still like 25th. 30th, right? So like we got to take everything with a grain of salt here when we talk about this. But so
Well, when we give up a field goal to North Dakota in the first game of the year,
and
and
Matt's
Matt's just
angry. I
going
know. That's right.
berserk. Yeah. The
Um,
professor. Yeah.
so Cody Jackson, interesting left offensive wide receiver. I believe he was the Tarleton State guy. From what I've heard from practice, like getting a ton of reps has been very good. Very hard to keep off the field at wide receiver, which I think is great. And I think they feel a lot better about wide receivers. I actually saw Dom Overby. I live near the facility. Yes, I know what the players look like. I'm a huge fan. Even though he was in street clothes, Dom's put on some weight. To me, it looks like 15 pounds. Like, remember him this past year, he was pretty skinny. Makes me wonder if that's why he didn't play as much once the season started. I think Overby will probably play a lot at the other wide receiver spot. And then they're like the two Fortenberries, Trevor and Tyler. One's a faster receiver. The other's a pretty bulky tight end. I have heard that I think it's Claiborne, the guy who transferred from Hampton. Claiborne will play a lot at tight end. And I think that group, you don't hear a ton of confidence. So it's nice to at least hear a name or two pop out that you hear pretty consistently. What else? I did sit next to Lightfoot at Size House for a little while, and he was talking about the offensive line a little bit. That would be the United transfer. And they feel really good about the bodies there. About Jake Taylor, I believe he's the Oklahoma transfer. I think Proudfoot stands to play quite a bit. They spent money on the offensive line. They spent money on the defensive line. And it sounds like they were, for the most part, pretty smart investments. So,
Matt, I'm going to break in here real quick, too. Let me be the first to compliment you or congratulate you on the Wild advancing to the second round of the playoffs. Let's get wild.
Oh, man. It's been so long. Holy smokes.
One name that we haven't really brought up that's been getting some buzz, at least that I've
seen. What do I have over here? Hold on.
Oh, all right.
Go ahead.
Celebration time. Zane Flores at quarterback actually might be pretty good.
First hockey game. Took my dad on January 4th, 2020. It's a great time.
It was about the only good time that was had in 2020, the folks were saying.
Well, you remember everyone was shutting down their seasons and hockey was like, yeah, we don't really care. Very, very fun. Very fun time. Actually, no, that was pre-pandemic.
That would have been pre-pandemic, yeah.
Yeah.
But
St. Flores can throw. And we got to give him a little credit. I think I said on the show earlier that he didn't have great numbers and I wasn't sure about him. I forget, he was on an absolutely wretched Oklahoma State team. And I didn't realize he's a redshirt sophomore. Like, he's got a lot of eligibility remaining. So, one, smart get to bring in a Big 12 body with 3 years to play. And two, he's got good command of the offense. He's he's probably the most accurate passer of the group. So it does feel like between him and Rayner,
the comp is like Rasir Bolton, who is a good basketball player, but just like Rasir Bolton on the 2-22 basketball team. Like, just didn't have a chance.
Like, is he a star? We don't know, but he's definitely not as poor as he probably looked that season with that just atrocious Oklahoma State team. So it just makes me feel better knowing that Jalen Rayner is really athletic and maybe not the most accurate, but he's going to run a lot too. And Rayner might get hurt. It's also possible that they like Flores better and Flores wins the job outright. Like, that's definitely very possible. So,
well, Rayner's got 1 year and Flores has multiple. So he could be a guy that I don't know if this was his intention when he came here, because he came here after Rayner was already here, but maybe the idea is I've got 2 years to start after this year at a Big 12 program. If I wait it out, I don't know. We'll see. We're projecting into the future anyway.
Very possible. 5-2. How about that? Okay. What else? I
thought you were about to go shotgun a beer or something when you went on camera, just to be honest.
Thought about it. Do you want to talk about some of the nincompoopery that's going on in college basketball right now? Utter buffoonery, tomfoolery. How many other re's can I throw in there?
This is the last thing that
Dumb,
I had on our agenda to make sure we talked about.
dumb assery. Kenny, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna let you start this one off while I collect some more adjectives here in my mind.
This would be the NCAA tournament. Ultimately, it's going to happen. Is going to expand to 76 teams, and it's a joke. Like, have you heard a single like good faith actor say, "You know what? I think this is a great idea. Let's do this."
No, and every big person who covers the sport, Jeff Goodman, all the way up to like Tim Ryan in Boston for the Globe, have been like, this is a horrible idea. Like it's all, and everyone's exposing it for what it is, Keeney, which is not just a bad idea, but just a naked grab for more money.
The thing is, it's not even going to make that much more money. So I read a little bit about this. The TV contract that the tournament has right now with CBS goes through like 2032. They're not renegotiating it to get more money for adding these extra teams right now. Like, I'm sure somebody will pay.
That's what they're gunning for down. Yeah, that's what they're gunning for down the road. They want,
but it's not like this is the natural point where, hey, we got to renegotiate with CBS and we're looking for a new deal. And by the way, we're going to give you more inventory.
Oh, what they're going to do
why this is happening.
We want Apple TV to carry these playing games so that now they're going to pay us a fortune. Because can you imagine what? Now it's playoff games, so I can say I don't care, but we're all going to be pissed if it comes tournament time and these are now on a paid streaming service. People are going to buy them, Kenny. Like, that's the worst part about this is like when that comes up for renegotiation, I'm sure they're going to get some Netflix or Apple to pay a shit ton for it. And I hate that. What are we doing? I mean, we're going to really do this so we can let more Auburns, more 15 and 15 teams into the field. Because
this is what's ultimately going to turn into.
They didn't do this to let more mid-majors in because it won't make the big boys more money. They did this to let more shitty mid-major or power conference teams in.
Yeah, you think like the Oklahoma States and the Arizona States and like Cincinnati, the kind of crap Big 12 teams last year that were on the fringe of the bubble, all would have made the tournament under this 76 team format. Like, asking for that. Nobody. It's a terrible idea. I mean, it's just going to bloat the Tuesday and Wednesday that nobody cares about anyway, and nobody pays attention. I'm not going to watch the first four. Like, what do I care? The first 12.
I so resent them.
I also,
this. Like,
I mean, this is gonna.
Fans were totally united in being opposed to this. They did it anyway.
So what's?
Yes, I would be too to that comment. If it was more mid majors, then fine. I would be good with that as well.
If you just said, hey, if you win your tournament, you're in the 64 team. Like, if you win your conference tournament, you're in the 64 team bracket no matter what. And we're going to basically have a separate tournament of the last 20 at-large teams playing their way in. Like, if you said, we're going to do that, I can maybe get behind this idea. We're going to do all 16 seeds are going to play against each other to play into the bracket, and even some 15 seeds are going to have to do that. Like, that's ridiculous. True. This is, by the way, shout out to Ben McCollum. Yes. Congratulations on making the tournament next year. I know, I mean, it was going to be touch and go, but they're 100% in the bracket next year.
Agree with that bum ass roster he put together, banking on the absolute middest center in the world from Mid Marys. Have fun.
Good Adam luck. Woodbury 2.0 is what they're saying.
Literally Adam Woodbury 2.0. Also, you can't have a guy named Tate Sage be your best player. Just on that name alone, that's embarrassing. It's a tough scene. I hate it. I'm so opposed to it. I'm out. And okay, I'm out. I will still watch the tournament attentively and with great interest, but I'm very mad about this. I'm not happy about it, Keeney.
Even the stuff that happens now before the 64 team bracket is just like, whatever. This is also going to make it impossible for like, hey, you want to be in a bracket pool? By the way, you need to either like pick 12 games before the bracket starts or you have to fill out your bracket after Wednesday night and before Thursday morning, and that's the only chance you can get into it. We'll divert
Correct.
real quick. Steve Kemp asked the story behind the Lightcast name. This was just what we called the show on the old website, and we liked it, so we brought it with us.
That said, if you feel free to always send us suggestions. Keeney, we need to, maybe I'll make it. We need just a Lightcast email where people can send in show ideas, podcast names, jokes about Iowa, maybe send in, any other,
I've long thought about doing like I thought it'd be cool to have like an advice call, not a column, but like
I agree, where we can read advice.
I mean, it's 100% ripping off what other podcasts do, but I do like the idea of just like, hey, you want a couple 30-something dads to answer some questions? Like,
if anyone would ever run into like someone's dad who pretended he killed himself, faked his own death.
Show,
sorry. We won't get into.
There is no coming back from this one.
No, sorry. I didn't go too far. I promise. Oh yeah, we can. People could email us stuff like that. It would be great.
What to do if you feel like you're getting ripped off in a financial transaction?
That's right. You know what we should do, Keeney? Have you ever done like an immaculate grid? I would love us to put our baseball knowledge together to do a grid on the podcast, especially during the summer when we have nothing better to do. Like, especially if there's one
that's an awesome segment idea. Is
where the Cubs and Twins were on it. Like, okay, let's think of the most random Cub and the most random Twin we can think of. How about that?
Matt and Austin play immaculate grid. Like, that's a segment for the summer pods. So I do like that.
Yep. Okay, we're in. Yeah, we're always the comment box is always open. Light beer, yes. Natty Light specifically.
So I think we were called that because of Natty Light on the old website.
Yeah.
Like, we weren't the first ones to start this show. We picked up the show, and that's just where we are. So
what about a summer beer review?
I'm telling
we're wide open, folks.
I'm down in person. Matt, you're gonna have another kid. You're gonna need time to get out of the house
here in about 10 days. Yeah, that's life comes at you fast. I
don't know if I've done a great job as your podcast co-host and as your friend, because my wife keeps asking me, well, when are the Nelsons having their baby? I'm like, I don't know, May.
Yeah, we're due like the 11th. And if for any of you out there who haven't had a child, Keeney, I know you are, you have, so you're in the club. It strikes you about like, I don't know, 3 weeks prior. I'm not going to say panic, but it's pretty close to panic, right? It's panic adjacent for sure. Where all of a sudden Saturday night you're cleaning the basement storeroom for no reason, and you're washing clothes, you're sorting through baby stuff. Like our bassinets are already put together, and we're not gonna have this baby for like another 2 weeks. Like it just kind of comes at you all at once in a wave. We're like a month prior, like, yeah, we got time. We'll get ready for this baby, and then all of a sudden, wham. Even 3 kids in, Keeney, it still happens. It still does. Like it's inevitable. I think they call it nesting in the parlance, is the term. And it definitely feels real right now. A little nervous, like big routine change going from 3 and kind of having everything down to throwing a brand new one into the mix. But we're excited. So, if you have baby name suggestions, Lightcast inbox, email them right over. Keeney, I'll make that email tonight. We'll put that out after the show. Like if you got any comments, any suggestions, and maybe Keeney, another idea this summer is if people email us, we have a guest hop on the show occasionally. Maybe just
I'd like to do that some in the summer too. And
they got to pop off their hottest Cyclone takes, and we'll entertain them. How about
that? Did you watch the post game shows with the one guy whose neighbor was getting just railed? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
That was, I mean, when we had that guy call in, it was unbelievable.
Absolutely unhinged.
Yeah. Got to be careful, like tapping the glass here with the chat and letting them in too much, because there's some unhinged people out there. You know who you are, but
you know who you are. I love it. Okay, well, we answered my question. Okay, does the NBA playoff result make you more inclined to pay attention to the remaining playoffs, or not until the finals? Are you just out on them in general?
I think I'm out. altogether. Like I'll watch because I have to, because like what else am I going to do? But
That's true.
man, the OKC thing too. Just I mean, so here's one thing that the playoffs have done for me. I am a long time LeBron hater. Like I probably hated LeBron for
You're like a card carrying member, man. One of the OGs.
At least 15 years. So it's reinvigorated me a little bit seeing all the conversation about LeBron in this series against the Rockets. And I just want to put it out there.
The vintage
nothing
LeBron
would possibly be funnier than them blowing a 3-0 lead. It would be the funniest thing that could possibly happen. So
it would be very good for your personal agenda. There's no question.
My personal agenda. It's like even Heacock, man. It's just something about LeBron and myself. We don't mesh. Never been a fan. I'm not.
That's the Stugatz in you. LeBron has no rings in your personal record book. We understand.
I mean, that's right. I mean,
at least not a Mickey Mouse ring.
Are we going down that path? Because I mean, the bubble, obviously, that was fake. The one against the Warriors, I mean, he got carried by Kyrie Irving. And I mean, completely bailed out in Miami. Like, I haven't done this in like 6 years. About like,
had to invent the concept of the super team to win his first rings. Yeah.
Yep. He was the first guy to. A lot of people are mad at like Kevin Durant for this, but like LeBron was the first guy to be like, I can't win on my own. I need to go join 2 other superstars on their team in order to win. Like he was the first guy that did it. And just revisionist history, we just pretend that didn't happen. Like what?
This is truly incredible. Speaking of someone who needs to revise some history, Brennan Sorsby, DraftKings.
Oh, yeah, I forgot we were going to talk about that.
Yeah, we got to touch on this.
Man, Texas Tech, they
yikes, man,
might be screwed. And
pretty late in the game to just 12. Make it. I mean, because Will Hammond is the guy that's going to be taking it over, right?
I mean, he was the backup to the guy last year that couldn't complete a pass in the playoff game. So,
how good could he really be? I mean, I think he showed some flashes at times, but you're so much weaker now. If he gets hurt, you're on what? Plan D, which you assumed would never have any shot to play. So,
yeah.
Did he get suspended for the season, or is he voluntarily sitting out the season? I'm a little blurry on the details. Correct.
So first off, nothing is official, but like he's not going to play anymore. So he got caught. So he checked himself into a rehab center for gambling addiction, which is, I think, commendable because if that is a destructive habit, then get yourself some help for it. But where it really opens up a can of worms is I think this was initiated by someone at the NCAA saying, hey, we are aware of some gambling activity around you. And so the people have done some digging and they found that when he was at Indiana as a redshirt freshman, he was betting on Indiana to win games. Like, that is the absolute no-no. That's what Hunter Deckers did. Bet on Iowa State when he was a player. Like, absolutely not. Deckers lost his eligibility. Like, it should be a pretty open and shut case. Like, Sorsby is not going to be allowed to play college football again. And the justification will be he bet on his own team, which is like just the dumbest thing you can do, man. Like,
that's the cardinal sin of sports betting as a player, right? Like, can't do it.
And that is the thing that these players are constantly reminded of is like, you do not gamble on college sports, and you under no circumstances gamble on your school. So
that's cannot bet on a sport that the NCAA sanctions.
Right.
So football is definitely one of them.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
So there's kind of going to be, I'm addicted to this story in the sense that like there's a lot more that's going to come out about it, and I can't wait to see what happens because there have been allegations of Cincinnati leaking the information about this to the NCAA because he transferred there and broke his NIL contract, and Cincinnati
to go to
try and bring money back.
An interconference team.
But what that also does is it puts Cincinnati in the crosshairs because, hey, you knew about this and you played him last year.
Does he? Do you think does he just go to the draft, like the supplemental draft?
It's going to be the only path that he has to keep playing football, I think. Do you sanction it? Can Indiana get sanctioned for any of this? Like, they just won a national championship. I know this was like 5 years ago, but like, they had a player betting on their own team. Like, is there anything that you could do about that?
Possibly, I would think.
I don't know. It's a crazy story. Crazy story. A lot more is going to come out about it, but like, man, if you're a Texas Tech fan, you just got to feel awful because we all watched the playoff game. We all watched the offense not be able to do anything. You knew you needed a quarterback upgrade. So you went in the portal and you got like the number 1 ranked portal quarterback. And he's not going to play a single snap for you through some self-inflicted, just bad decision making.
Yeah. Yeah. Not a good look for Sorsby. Really not a good look for any parties involved. Not a good look for Texas Tech. Like how did really no one knows around into this, especially if Cincinnati knew?
I did see somebody saying like, hey, you tampered with this guy for like 6 months before you brought him on. So how did you not find out? Just openly openly knowing, yeah, we know that everybody tampers with everybody. So still nothing there. I don't know. Tech was it's probably fair to assume that Texas Tech knew something like this could come out. And that's a risk that you're willing to take when you bring them on as a transfer. So I just have a hard time believing that they said, we're going to give you $5 million and we've fully vetted you and you're clean and you're good to go. And hey, you're our quarterback.
I just can't believe. Yeah, we haven't heard more about this, and it makes me wonder if they're going to do an investigation gate 2.0. And there's got to be other players who are doing the same thing. Maybe they're not as high profile as Sorsby, but
it's extremely familiar to us as Iowa State fans. Like,
no question.
Heard this story before.
We're over it. Yep. Even though we were the target of something just to score points politically, and don't get me started.
There were people being like, all right, well, this is the first major college gambling story. I'm like, maybe you should run with that and we can just kind of bury what happened to Iowa.
Yeah, please take the monkey off our backs, Pete Thamel. Thank you.
We don't need to rehash it. Hey, we got in trouble first. No, we don't.
No, actually, that's us. We had the cheaters first. Yeah, we don't. I saw people correcting him in the comments, like, "Why? What are you doing? Like, shut up. Just let him go. Let him take him. Let him take heat." All right. Let's see if Cody Campbell can wave the money wand and pull starting quarterback out of the hat. I don't feel that bad for Tech. I'm getting kind of tired of their fans. There, I said it. All right. Anything else we need to hit on? Can I tell you?
On my list.
Brett Bloom mentioned it, and I'm going to expose myself here. Fun little moment. I ran into Brock Purdy last weekend on Saturday.
He was in town.
Yep. I was at the gas station. Give Jordan Bergeson and Bergies a shout out. Bergies, not a sponsor. Love their coffee, love their food. If you've never been, it's that random little gas station right off 30 that has great food. And I was just getting coffee, getting ready to play golf, and this just kind of normal looking guy walks in, and I caught a glimpse of him, and I'm like, oh my gosh. And I turned to the cashier. We're the only two people in there, Kenny. She's like, do you know him? I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure that's Brock Purdy. And she stops and she turns like a full turn and just like stares at him for like 30 seconds. Turns back, doesn't say a word to me. We just stare at each other. We're both like, what do we do?
Did you say anything?
When we walked by, I said, hey, Brock, huge fans. And I gave him a fist bump. And he fist bumped me back. Gave me a big, charming Brock Purdy smile, which is as infectious in person as you would think it is. And I'd already paid, so we kind of walked out of the door together. And I said, hey, man, we really appreciate everything you did while you were here, and we're huge fans of you in the NFL. He said, all right, thanks, man. I appreciate it. That was it.
Okay. Good job, Matt. Good on you to, like, nail the interaction.
I didn't know what to do. I wasn't about to like pull him aside, say I need 5 minutes of your time, or sign my hat. And I also felt like it'd be rude if I didn't say something because like clearly we
By
all
the
know who
way,
he is.
by the way, how much was your contract worth? We could probably use a little bit in the
Yeah,
NIL
come on. What
pot.
are you?
Just
Yeah, what
saying,
are you doing here? What are you doing here? He was in town for Charlie Kohler's wedding.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
got married down in Des Moines, and there was a ton of Cyclone fans in town for it. It sounds like so. Um, Brock, if you're listening to this, which I know you probably won't, it's really cool to see you. He was super friendly, and yeah, man, it was just. What's funny is like he's pretty big, but like when you see, I've seen NFL players in airports, been on the plane. But I think I saw Von Miller once in Denver. Brock just looks he looks like a football player, but it's not like he's this huge menacing figure like you would think most NFL players are. Just pretty regular sized.
Yeah,
Um,
well, man, I've seen Charlie Kohler out in the wild before, like just randomly, but I was too much of a chicken to say anything to him. But
yeah,
like that dude's massive.
massive, huge dudes. Correct. Yep. I bet honestly, good for Brock. It probably helps him be a little bit more innocuous, but good luck with that in Central Iowa, man. We all know who you are. We're all huge fans. So that was like a life highlight. I was stoked. It was really cool.
Matt nailed his celebrity
Yeah,
interaction.
that's
We
right. I
love it.
did. That's it, man. Really excited for honestly, like last thing we kind of talked about football. I gotta say, I'm really excited for the season to have like no expectations, a brand new roster, like the weight of expectations we've had what 2019, 2021, last year, this year. It's not that it's crushing, but I found the games not as enjoyable. And I got to get over that as a fan. I honestly felt that about this basketball team later in the year. Like you're a huge favorite. You're going on the road. Like I found myself not able just to sit there and enjoy the way I did. Like when early in the Fred years, when you were hoping to upset a good team and you knew you weren't going to be a favorite all that often. Like I definitely would take where the basketball program's at now 9 times, 10 times out of 10. Um, I do think it will be fun to watch a ton of new faces and a ton of really young players and just figure out what this team is. A lot of people are going to have to spend a lot of time looking at rosters, um, right? But like, I don't know. I have gotten excited about it, not because of anything Iowa State's done or the coaching staff, just a chance to have a no pressure, no expectation season. And if you win 6 games, it's been a great year. I don't know. Is that weird to say? Are you in the same camp or are you still out yet in what you're expecting?
I got to be honest, I'm not there yet because it does seem pretty apparent that we're going to be taking a step back. But
Yeah, for sure.
it's April 30th. Like, get me to August, and I'll start to get into it in a sense of like, yeah, I'll be ready for the season to start and just kind of like see what we got. I don't
Yep.
know. I don't know. I'm in
There's
a weird spot with football right now, to be honest. Like I'm gonna get excited when the season starts, but I'm probably not gonna be that. This is probably the wrong
what?
thing to say right now
No, no,
because like
no.
we're gonna be doing pods all summer, but like I've had a hard time getting like excited about this Iowa State football season so far.
I can tell you my hesitation right now, but it's not going to affect how I cheer for Iowa State because I love this team. I love going to football games, right? And I encourage anyone listening to not let this seep in. Um,
That'll be
it's the
the most enjoyable part is like tailgating and going to games and not being like, oh my god, if we don't win this is just a terrible day. Like,
I right or two you know losing 2 games, burn it all down, right? Like no, what I'm getting at is just the national landscape of this sport right now just really stinks. It really does, man. Like I respect like the guys at the Solid Verbal because they don't like talking about the playoff and they cover the whole sport. They're not afraid to talk about the Mountain West, the Pat League, but like some of the big shows, and I'm guilty of it. Like I give the Cover Three a lot of my bandwidth during football season, and I just know what it's going to be this next season because of the money and what's being spent. Like it's going to be shit on the Big 12 and everyone's just going to be talking about now they just go into the season talking about the playoff. They're already doing it like playoff predictions. It's like, what are we doing? It's April. And because of the money involved and how big these games are, because ESPN's got broadcasting rights, CBS, Fox, any of these podcasts that are tied with them, like and I'm just going to pick on the Cover 3 again. Like, it benefits them to talk about it because they're a CBS podcast. And I know that's their charter. I know that's what pays their bills. Like, I get it. But when you were with Matt Campbell, I hate to say it, it felt like you were part of that conversation, Keeney, where you knew, like, we might make the playoff. Like, we damn near did 2 different times. They had to talk about us, right? Like, how much airtime are we going to get on any of those national shows? -10, right? And, like, I'm not saying we deserve it. Like, I get it, but it hurts doubly, I think, when you listen to big national podcasts from Yahoo or ESPN, and all they're going to be talking about is a bleep playoff, right? And that means money. We saw that list last year, right? Money. And I don't even feel good about the Indiana story, Keeney. We haven't really talked about this. And everyone says, oh, it shows that anybody can do it. No. Anybody with Mark Cuban paying for their players can do it. That's not anybody, right? Sorry, Northwestern. Mark Cuban's not walking through that door. It's not happening. Sorry, Iowa State. Bill Gates is not walking through that door. Like, the story is that money wins, right? And sure, like, coaching, Signetti's a good coach, and he has a clear philosophy, and I think that's valuable. But man, that's all I took out of that is congratulations to Indiana. Mark Cuban bought you a title. And I know I'm supposed to be happy about that because it's a non-traditional power who's had a gazillion losing seasons in the last 30 years. But how many other teams can access the way that they did it? It just doesn't seem super likely. So, like, we're going to reduce the sport to the 12 teams that can pay for a title. And in some ways, we probably already have.
I mean, 24 is the direction. We haven't talked about that yet. The playoff is going to expand just in a ridiculous way, and it's going to make things much, much worse to deal with. But that's a conversation for another day, Matt. So I got to be honest.
So
you're cutting in and out a little bit with the connection. I think
all good.
I need to let you. I got to let you watch the Timberwolves, and
I do have to watch the Wolves.
Yeah, I think. I don't know. I think we're at a good stopping point. We covered a lot of ground, man. This was great.
We did.
I don't know if we'll talk. We'll figure out if we're going to do another one before the baby comes, but without a doubt, we'll be talking again here soon. By the way, thank you to all of you. It always blows me away. We do these pods and these live shows, and just the view counts keep going up and up the longer we go. Like, y'all stick around, y'all comment in the chat. We love it. It's awesome.
Thank you.
One of the best parts about being with the Fanatics, doing the After Dark stuff. It's great. So thank you all. And we're going to leave it at that for now. So yeah, see y'all next time.